Hi everyone, this is Vera Papasova, your Wellness Features Editor, and we have a really exciting special guest with us here today.
Hi, I'm Naomi Osaka. I just won the US Open.
Thank you so much for coming and talking to Teen Vogue and letting us interview you after you beat the best athlete in the world. That's gotta feel amazing. How are you feeling since the match?
Feels like everything happened really fast. I feel good.
I saw online your message to Serena was "I love you." And I know that she is a big inspiration for you. So what was it like getting to play such a legend?
It was really amazing. I was lucky enough to play her once before, but I think during the finals in a Grand Slam it feels way more special. And yeah, I think just growing up and watching her play and then finally having the opportunity to play during the finals in Arthur Ashe, where I used to live in New York, so I used to come here and watch people play. I think for me to have that opportunity, I was really happy.
There was a really cool moment, I thought, when Serena had asked the audience to quiet down. And it felt like a moment of solidarity between athletes. Did it feel like that for you?
I thought it was really cool that she did that, especially since it was my first finals. I know that everyone on the stage, we couldn't really hear anything because everyone was so vocal in the crowd. So yeah, I was really grateful that she did that.
What is the pressure like, a tournament like US Open?
I think I do better in Grand Slams. I like when there's more people watching. The morning I woke up to play the finals, I was really nervous and I couldn't really eat anything at all. So that was a new feeling for me because normally I never get that nervous. But I think since I knew that it was so special, I just started freaking out a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have any methods for calming yourself down when something like that happens?
Well, I call my sister.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So then you just kind of talk about whatever?
She just starts talking about random stuff. I think she does that to distract me.
And it works?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so distraction is the key to nerves.
Yeah.
Does it ever get easier to play in Grand Slams?
For me it does, because I feel like I'm more used to the facility and I know how things work. So I think the more time you give something, the better it becomes.
I'm talking about the pressure and just dealing with a Grand Slam. How important do you think having good mental health is for professional athletes who are competing on such a high level?
Usually if you play sports, you think that one match or one game is very important, and then when you lose it, you sort of think that your whole world is over, even though it's not. I can see how easily that it can turn. So I think definitely athletes should really be mentally sound.
Do you have any advice for young athletes who look up to you and see you as a huge role model for kind of how to deal with losing a match and feeling bad that you lost?
I know that playing sports growing up, for me, it was always like a roller coaster. You would have one good result and then the next day you would have one bad one. So I think you should think that it's not really the outcome, but it's more like the process. And you just gotta keep going and you gotta keep fighting for everything. And then one day you'll get to where you want. But the way that people are, they're never satisfied, so of course you want to get farther.
Yeah. If you told your younger self that at 20 years old you won the US Open, what would her reaction be?
Surprisingly, I think I would believe it, because this is something I've always dreamed about. I feel like I've worked my whole life to get to this point, and of course I want to keep doing better. So
one thing that I find really interesting is that the dropout rate in sports for girls is much higher than it is for boys. The statistic is by the age of 19, only 29% of girls versus 56% of boys will play a sport at all. Were you ever discouraged from continuing to play tennis?
For me, I haven't. Mainly because of my parents, and I went to online school, so for me tennis was my #1 thing the whole time, so I wouldn't really think of not playing.
What would you say to young athletes who are young women and girls who feel like they just don't have as many opportunities as some of the guys do? Do you have any advice for how to stick through it?
I don't feel like I'm qualified to answer this question, but this is gonna sound pretty cliche, but I guess just it gets better.
I heard that you'd spent an entire year conditioning and changing how you were training and eating.
Well, last year technically during the off season, I was like on a pretty strict diet, and then I went to Australia and I felt really fit, so I think that carried on to here. I feel like I'm moving better than ever, so that's a really big bonus.
Can you tell me about like what you were eating when you were training, if it made a major difference for you?
It's gonna sound kind of extreme, but during the off season I was eating like boiled foods. I would boil chicken and broccoli and stuff like that, and I wouldn't eat any carbs. That was mainly just to trim down.
Was there anything else you did to prepare for the final match? Is there any rituals that you have?
Well, I mean, I've been eating the same breakfast for the 2 weeks now, which was like a salmon bagel. Of course, I ate that before I played my match. Other than that, I didn't really have a ritual. I do certain things, but I think they're more habits. Like, I always have to put my right shoe on before my left.
Really?
Yeah. All my rackets have to be on a certain side of my bag, I guess.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. We're so excited for you to be 20 years old and one of the greatest athletes ever. Like, that must feel really great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, you guys. We have the US Open 2018 champion right here, and we're so excited about it.